Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi, my name is ADRIANA BILQIS binti Muhammad KORISAN and I am from Gigih. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the application of Archimedes Principle in helium-filled balloon. So firstly, what is Archimedes Principle? Archimedes Principle states that an object which is partially or fully immersed in a fluid will experience a buoyant force equal to the weight of the water displaced. So what is buoyant force that is mentioned in Archimedes Principle? Buoyant force is the force acting upward on an object immersed in a liquid when there is pressure difference between the lower surface and the upper surface of the object. As shown in the diagram in the slide, the upward force on the block immersed is labeled as buoyant force, while the force acting downwards on the block is labeled as the weight. So buoyant force or buoyancy have three states. First state is positive buoyancy. Positive buoyancy is a situation when the buoyant force acting on an object is equal to the weight acting on the object. The object will remain stationary or floating at the surface of water or in the water or in the air or at the air when positive buoyancy acting on it. The force acting on the object is in equilibrium state. Secondly, we have neutral buoyancy. Neutral buoyancy is when the weight acting on an object is more than the buoyant force. Since the weight can overcome the buoyant force and the resultant force is acting downwards, automatically the object will go down, or we call it as sinks in the water with an acceleration. So lastly, or the third one, is negative buoyancy. In contrast with neutral buoyancy, negative buoyancy will act on the object when its weight is less than buoyant force. This leads the object to rises and move upwards until it reaches certain heights. Now that we have studied a bit about Archimedes Principle and also buoyant force, we will look onto how Archimedes Principle will work on helium-filled balloon. But before that, we will look into the uses of helium balloon. I'm sure that this is not an uncommon object since we can see it everywhere at many places, and it's widely used, especially in decorating event places such as birthday places, birthday events, and also used for kids balloon at the night market. Furthermore, all gases must have its own characteristics that makes it special, right? So here's also some special characteristics of helium that helps it to float, rises, and deflect. Firstly, helium is an element of group 18, which means it's chemically inert and a stable gas. This is mainly one of the reasons why people prefer to use helium gas in balloon rather than using hydrogen gas in balloon, because the possibility of flames are much lower and it's much safer. Secondly, helium also comes in tiny molecules and is lighter than the air surrounding, such as the oxygen and the nitrogen. So now we're going to discuss and also answer the question on how a helium balloon can rise in the air. And honestly, this has been a question in my head ever since young, because I've always seen balloons that float and also balloons that cannot float, right? So let's see how a helium balloon can float, rises, and deflect in the air. So firstly, why do a balloon rises when it's filled with helium gas? As told before, the molecules of helium are very tiny and it's lighter than the oxygen or the nitrogen, which also means that the density of helium balloon is much more less than the density of the air surrounding. Therefore, the buoyant force or the upthrust acting on it is more than the total weight of helium plus balloon and also the weight of the string attached to it. And as a reaction, balloon will rise upward to the air. And this state is a negative buoyancy. So next is we will look into why the balloon deflect or move downwards. The tiny molecules of helium in the balloon will diffuses out of the balloon faster than the oxygen and nitrogen molecules that diffuses in. This will slightly increase the weight of the balloon and cause the weight to become greater than buoyant force. As a result, balloon will slowly going down and the balloon is in neutral buoyancy state. And lastly, the balloon will also float in the air for a while before going down. It will float when the amount of helium gas in the balloon and the amount of oxygen and nitrogen gas in the balloon is equal. The upthrust is the same as total weight of helium plus balloon plus the string. The balloon looks like it's not moving anymore upward or going down for a few moments in the air or in the water, and the balloons will experience a positive buoyancy. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening until the end, and I hope this video will help you in understanding more about the applications of Archimedes Principle in our daily life. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum and bye.